And I don't even play one on TV. But I'm going to share with you some medical findings about the adverse impact of alcohol on our health. These are, here you all know the message. Basically, these New York Times headlines boils down to no amount of alcohol is safe for your health, as it leads to increased risk of grave illnesses, especially cancer. Contrast that with the prevailing wisdom of the 1990s when I came of age for drinking legally. The French paradox, when we were advised that 1 glass of wine per day was actually better for our health than no glass of wine, because it counteracted the ill effects of saturated fats in our diet. Stir into this confusing mix of dietary guidelines is actually the U.S. government's new dietary guidelines concerning alcohol, which they say now just consume less alcohol for better overall health. Gone are the specific recommendations for men of no more than 2 units of alcohol per day, and for women just one unit of alcohol per day. So to drink or not to drink. Right now, the public health weather vane seems to be pointing the direction of don't drink. But if alcohol is unequivocally deleterious to our health, not even to be enjoyed in moderation, like whatever that means these days, why has it been such a persistent part of the human experience? For centuries, even millennia, we've been advised not to drink or to drink as much. But we humans have intentionally consumed alcohol all over the world and in many different cultures for at least 9,000 years. I don't want to downplay the real dangers of alcohol. It can wreak havoc on our mental and physical health and those whom we love. And I have experienced this firsthand. And yet I am not ready to say no to alcohol. And maybe you aren't ready to say no to alcohol. Just maybe. But we are seen to be, but then at the same time, we're not really ready to yell out a resounding yes. We're stuck in this binary yes or no, and it's a really bitter, unpalatable cocktail of guilt and shame and confusion. So how are we to resolve this dilemma and figure out how, if at all, to incorporate alcohol into our lives? Yes, that's me. What if we didn't turn to scientists and doctors to resolve our conundrum, but to poets? Now, I'm not a poet, just as I am not a doctor, obviously. But I have much more expertise in poetry. I sometimes jokingly refer to myself as a recovering Latin teacher. And I used to teach advanced placement Latin literature, and that includes poetry. And I incorporated poetry as well into my graduate seminar at New York University on the history, culture, and politics of drinking. Poets are adept at reconciling paradox through rhyme, meter, and metaphor. And they can also hold contradictions without necessarily reconciling them, thereby uncorking a whole new world, one that we hadn't seen before. And there are so many contradictions about alcohol. I already mentioned that it's deleterious to our health, but it's also salubrious, a source of medicine, which you'll all hear a little bit more about in the second act with Robin Robinson's talk on the 3 M's of whiskey. Alcohol is also commiserative and depressing, but also celebratory and joyous, sacred and profane. And in that space of unnegotiated or unresolved tension, poets across the centuries and cultures have made the case not just to drink, but to drink with glee and even in moderation. So what is the poetic case for drinking? We're going to look at some poems, 4 of them. If that makes you wince and you haven't said no to alcohol, this may be the time to take a drink without it. It will make me and my poetic exegesis much more fascinating. Let's go. I'm going to start with Latin. You now know that I cannot help myself. Carpe diem, seize the day. It's one of the oldest and most poignant themes in poetry. The ancient Roman poet Horace gave us this phrase. Almost 1,000 years later, in late 11th century Persia, the poet and polymath Omar Khayyam echoes this sentiment. And he writes, "Rise up, my love, and solve our problem by your beauty. Bring a jug of wine to clear our hearts so that we may drink together before wine jugs are made of our clay." That's a reaction I wanted, thank you. Drink, love, live, because one day we will be dust. In these Carpe Diem poems, alcohol really isn't the point. It's more of a literary device to express the real urgency of being fully alive. Let's give some privacy to our wine-sipping lovers, and let's go to the pub and experience a more rowdy poetic tradition, the early modern drinking song. We're talking about merry old England in the 1600s. Interestingly, this is a broadside ballad which used to be for sale and sung in the pubs. But they weren't called drinking songs, they were called good fellowship ballads. Yes, they were about pots of ale and the boisterous tavern and over-consuming, but they're really about chilling with your mates, letting your hair down, and being yourself, which we know alcohol can encourage because it lowers our inhibitions. Roaring Dick of Dover, yes, that is his name. He is the narrator of this good fellowship ballad from the 1630s. And he urges his fellow imbibers, don't be cheap and don't be a party pooper. Get thee to the tavern, spend what coins you have in your leather purse, and make merry while we're still alive. And this is just a few lines. Then let's take some part of pleasure, drink and sing and freely pay. Whilst our time and money lasteth, let's not make curmudgeon bores. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a curmudgeon or a bore. Hopefully I'm not right now. But in this current age that we're in, we're obsessed with productivity, optimization, and unwinnable self-improvement. How radical would it be to say, let's enjoy this moment now together, to live this one life that we have to the fullest with no apology, or to quote Spinal Tap, to have a good time all the time. These 17th century good fellowship ballads are really bacchanalian spins on Carpe Diem. Well, let's go out of the beer-soaked tavern and into a floral-scented, moonlit night and enjoy a quieter, more contemplative poetic tradition. Li Bai, in 8th century China, a poet, wrote verse about drinking alone under the moon. This is just a few lines. Beneath the blossoms with a pot of wine, no friends at hand, so I poured alone. But I quickly made friends with the moon and my shadow to find pleasure in life, make the most of spring. Even though Li Bai is drinking alone, which actually wasn't typical in 8th and Tang Dynasty China, this isn't about loneliness or problematic solo drinking. It's about attunement to nature, to the seasons, to oneself. It's a slowing down. It's stepping outside the rush and hecticness of the daily grind of life. Li Bai isn't drinking to escape life, as is sometimes associated with alcohol, but actually he's drinking to be more present in life. But a word of caution, as there always is with alcohol. Legend has it that Li Bai died by drowning because he was drunk and he tried to embrace the reflection of the moon in the river. It didn't go very well. The imbibing poets also teach us about drinking as a means or a mode of self-expression as well as political defiance. We're going to go back to 11th century Persia and to our polymath and poet, I just like saying polymath, to polymath and poet Omar Khayyam, who was alive in a time of extreme religious orthodoxy. And he daringly writes, "If I'm drunk on forbidden wine, so I am. If I'm an unbeliever, a pagan idolater, so I am. Every sect has its suspicions of me. I myself am just what I am." Omar Khayyam uses drinking as a way to express personal freedom in a time of religious and political oppression. And as a woman, I really get that, because historically, women's drinking has been especially policed, culturally, socially, legally, even architecturally. A woman can express her agency around alcohol by giving a firm no to drinking. But for me, there is something important and significant about accessing pleasure on my own terms. Because even today, women who dare to have pleasure on their own terms, just for themselves, is in many ways a mode of self-defiant determination. All right, so to recap the themes of our 4 poems, what do we have? We have Carpe Diem, we have good fellowship, we have contemplation, we have self-determination. Whatever the theme, we see a pattern that alcohol, as I said, isn't really the point. It's a way to access something else. Friendship, love, contentment, joy. Is alcohol the only way to get there? No, of course not. But our poets have shown us a world where this is deliciously possible. Oh yeah, I'm going to end on some more Latin. You know I love it. This comes from a 13th century drinking song. I'm going to get my beer. Hold on. I should have asked someone to hold it for me. It's Gaudeamus igitur, let us therefore rejoice. So if you are drinking something, let's all give a toast to this one life. Carpe diem. Cheers.